You're listening to the StudioPTBO podcast, where we talk all things marketing to help you build and grow your business online. Welcome to the latest episode.
Welcome to the StudioPTBO podcast. We are back, and we're back at it again with another guest. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there. Really excited that we have the opportunity to interview one of my good friends today, who runs an insurance marketing agency, who helps insurance agents. And we're going to chat all things marketing today. We're going to chat what he's doing for insurance agents, how he's setting appointments. We're talking about the marketing industry. So if you're a marketer, you're going to want to stay tuned into what the heck is happening in this niche, because I think it can really apply to other niches as well. Obviously applies to what we're doing in real estate. And we're just going to try to provide a massive amount of value. But before we get to the value, Chase, what's happening? How's it going? How are you doing? Things are going well. Life is good in your hood.
Things are fantastic. Busy as heck, yeah, crazy busy.
Busy is not bad. Not bad. Give our listeners and the people that follow a little bit of a backstory on who you are, what you do, why you do it, where you are in the world right now, because I don't think you're in the Bahamas anymore.
No.
I'm going to take a swig of this large jug of water, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about who you are.
Cool. Well, first and foremost, my name is Chase McAllister. I'm sure some of you on Cody's profile probably know who I am, being that we are fellow Chathamites. Born and raised in Chatham, moved to London and Toronto area in my later years, but known Cody and actually your sister for a very long time. But that's how we know each other. Got into digital marketing through an HVAC company that I used to work for. Built out, some of their websites. Just knew that it was something that was for me. Had great success at it. Quit the job, started to build my own agency, ended up falling into the insurance space, had some, things that I really resonated with. Had a friend pass away. He didn't really have a lot left, and we kind of had to figure out a funeral situation for him and all that. And honestly, I had the opportunity to work with a client that was selling life insurance, and primarily actually in the final expense benefit. So actually got a great result for him, and it resonated with me so much that I just knew that this is the only client I wanted to really work with, was people in the insurance space, because it was something I just grew to be really passionate about, and I felt like that was the key to anything. When we started the agency in the first place, we were just working with clients and all over the map, but we really needed to focus on something that was dear to our hearts, as well as got great results in. Fast forward, now we are, working with some of the pretty biggest insurance brokerages in the United States and in Canada, providing leads as well as live transfers. And how we've done that is we've gotten around 16,000 landing pages, as well as some paid advertisement campaigns, ranked in the first to fourth page of Google. And how we do is do it through Google My Business and long tail keywords. So what we try to do is we try to rank our sites for keywords that are hardly ever searched, and try to rank them thousands of times or 1,000 different pages on those ranks, without getting into too much technical lingo here. But what we do is we generated a lot of organic traffic as well as paid traffic, and we bring that all to our call centers. Our call centers then call all the leads, get them on the phone, qualify them, and then transfer them to the licensed insurance agent. That's kind of the gist of what we do.
Very similar to what we do for real estate space, which is why, whenever we get real estate agents through our funnels, through your funnels, you funnel them through us. Whenever we get insurance agents through our funnel, we funnel them to you. I think we funneled somebody your way the other day. I want to talk really quickly about niching down and what that's done for your agency, because I think that a lot of agency owners, if we can kind of maybe provide some value to some agency owners that on our page, that might listen. We have a lot of marketing people that listen to the podcast on iTunes. So what was the value to niching down? Because you said you worked with a bunch of different companies and styles, and you did a whole bunch in the early beginning. I think that's really important for a freelancer. But what has like focusing primarily on insurance agents done for your agency?
Well, like and how I kind of sum it up is like, you're not going to get the electrician to do the plumbing in your house, you know?
Right.
So and I think that having that, understanding the market and the product extremely well, instead of just understanding that, yeah, I know what insurance is. I know how the products works. I know how people get paid on it. I know how the entire industry works. It was just 10 times, we're now getting 10 times better results for those clients. And then it's just snowballed into that effect. But also even on the insurance side of things, selling insurance for the insurance brokers, or even in real estate, you have, residential, commercial, you have those different niches. And by niching down, you can also narrow down who you need to speak to, narrow down who's your ideal client, and then, gain more expertise in that vertical. It just goes hand in hand and snowballs even to more greater results.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that too. Like, anyone that's listening, like we fought many years. Like I started in the real estate space, left the real estate space, came back to the real estate space, and now we're like the best advice I was given from our coach was the fact that like stop niche hopping and start to just create a better program. Because I look at our program now in comparison to even like, and it's not perfect. Like there's still things that we could fix. And I think that it's not about being perfect, it's about finding solutions and adding different things. Like I understand the real estate industry so much deeper now that we have a coaching business as well. And I'm working with Vikram, who has actually built a real estate business. I'm understanding the lingo. I always have understood the lingo on a deeper basis, but now I understand the entire journey. From the time that we actually hand off an appointment to, the back end sales process, what that looks like, showing a home, is writing, clients in escrow, using terms like FSBO. Like you can just speak the language on such a deeper level.
And I have no idea what you're talking about.
Totally.
And that's why we pivoted, and recently, like we had a lot of real estate clients. We got them great results. It was just, we weren't getting as good as results as we are getting in the insurance space. And I honestly, I'd rather give them to somebody like yourself who has that expertise. And look, yeah, we might have similar ways of getting people on the calls, but you as an agency in the real estate space, you need appointments. You need that person face to face. You need to get people, even if they're on the phones, they need to have that, tight knit interaction. Insurance is a lot different, where you're trying to get as many people on the phone as possible. And the process of the sale is quick. You can sell something in 30 minutes and be done with it, right? And you're not going to sell it in 30 minutes, right? So
yeah, it'd be nice, but like it's not realistic. Yeah, 100%.
Your approach is more tailored to that specific agent, where we can get away with just doing our approach, right? Where you're just getting the end result.
Well, how do you think marketers can find a niche? How do you think, like, what would you say to a marketer that is like, they're like, they want to move from freelancer to, hey, I want to build an agency. I want to get above $10,000 to $20,000 months. I want to actually start to build an agency. What would be your advice to them?
One, don't be okay with being a glorified freelancer.
Totally.
Be okay with that in the first 2-3 years. You do not need to be this massive agency. Just get a good result. As long as you can get a good result and you can streamline the way you can get that result, and like the niche doesn't really matter unless it's a product. Like if you had you're doing an SEO product and it's one specific service, then you can probably go outside of a niche. But if you're doing a full service, if you're trying to generate sales for that specific person, you need to go at a niche. To be able to understand lingo, you got to be able to understand what it is that person's buying fully. So totally. to almost the same extent as that person's selling the product, right? So to find the niche, to answer that question, it has to come from something, one, you either know about, something that you've worked in the past, maybe you had jobs in, or then two, you're extremely passionate about it. It literally, gives you chills. Like, I looked at our stats the other month. Our company helped 11,000 families get protected. That's a freaking cool. Like that keeps me like just sleeps good. I wake up like I'm going to wake up today. I'm going to sell some more live transfers because I know that live transfer equals a protected family. And
the
that's
larger
keep going.
Yeah.
That's something that's key to all of this. It's the
Yeah.
key to this in my entire business is the passion that I have for that.
Yeah. Well, how did you come up with that? Like how, like, you know, obviously like so you started like, so you had a story, like obviously your story is, you know, with insurance, like you went through that already. You said that in regards to like past, you know, finding a past client that potentially you got some good results with. And that's kind of how we got into real estate. You know, we had some clients that we really liked working with, and was kind of our journey. And I'm like, we were okay with like working with other types of clients. Like what would you say are the first 3 steps that practical steps that a marketer can take in order to find a niche?
1, look at your results. 2, low hanging fruit. What's available to you? What's especially if, you know, sales is an issue right now and money is an issue, then obviously, you know, it's finding what's low hanging. And then 3 would be what you're passionate about. It has to come from passion.
That's great. No, that's yeah. Just choose a niche is the biggest thing I would say to any marketer. Like, because like this niche thing, like it's like I love the 3 practical steps, because I feel like I see in so many groups, like people asking, what niche should I go with? Like the high level community, I hear it all the time. What niche should I go with? Or like in other ClickFunnels group, what niche should I choose? Just choose one.
Yeah, and if
and then like pivot if you don't like it, like, you know, but like create a better program. Like you said, like it's such a deeper thing where it's like, it's not the niche. Like that's the biggest thing I want to say to any marketer that's listening. It's not the niche. It's your product isn't good enough yet. It's just that simple. Like, and I want that to be encouragement. It's like, hey, you get into a niche and it's not working. It's like, it's not, your business is always like, the best thing I ever heard was your business is always going to be broken. It's just a matter of how broken it is.
Yeah.
It's like, you're never going to get everyone that comes into your world results, you know? So a part of it is like, because a lot of times you're responsible to clients, you're not responsible for them. Sometimes markets, like for us, certain markets are harder than others. You just have to be comfortable with that. But I want to talk a little bit about like client facing experiences that you have and how we can speak, because I think this can speak to insurance agents. This can speak to real estate agents. This can speak to, you know, to marketers. What are like some things that you're doing in your agency to create a better experience, like a better client experience for the people that you're working with? And what do you feel like are the key aspects towards not just from results, but building relationship with your people?
Yeah, well, availability is one. Like, truthfully, I know in our market, a lot of live transfer vendors or lead vendors take an approach of we set up a campaign, we don't talk to you. Bill you on Friday. We're in contact with our clients every day. Like, you get an account manager in contact, where it's different. I mean, with our agency, we are operating on a call center to call center basis. We have our automation, we have our software that you can tap into, and that's kind of a separate sector of our agency. But truthfully, the call to call aspect of our agency is very direct. So we're just managing the flow of a lot of things and consistently keeping up with our clients in that regard. So, question I wish I could answer better, but I would say for us specifically, in the way our system works, is just the communication aspect. I don't think there's a single vendor out there that's communicating with their clients as much as we are, and improving consistently with that communication. So
well, you said something important there is the improving. Like, no business is like no communication. Like, one of our values is over communication with clients and each other, and it's like, that communication rhythm and the communication cadence can sometimes break down, but it's like, what can you do to actually better that communication cadence? Like, one of the best things I've heard is the idea that like people come for a result, but they often stay for a relationship. Like, even when somebody comes to get a result and maybe it's not the right fit for them, like maybe you guys eventually part ways and you go a separate way, but it's how your communication rhythm with that person can be. I'm going to give this to everyone that's listening. I think that something that I learned from Neil's dad. So Neil's dad said to us very early on, Neil's dad was the former CEO of Quaker. He said, we did a full day planning session with him back in the day. For those that know Neil was my old business partner. He left the company last year. He went off and did something else. We did a full day planning session with Neil's dad, and Neil's dad said the two reasons that agencies get fired, and this could go to real estate agents or insurance agents. The two reasons you get fired: either one, lack of failure to drive results; two, communication. Like those are the two reasons you get fired. Is like, and the variable around the communication is something that's so easily solved. That create a standard operating procedure around how you communicate with people. And like your communication rhythm is never going to be perfect, but it can be something that can be fixed through feedback. And that feedback loop is so, so important in any agency. I'm curious, let's talk a little bit about your team, how it's structured, some things you've learned along the way around building a team. Maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about mistakes you made along the way. And so that, because we've made a ton and I've been honest with the mistakes that we've made. I'm just curious to know any advice you would have to insurance agents, to real estate agents, to marketers around building team.
Well, one, I'm just going to go here and say that it's probably my biggest downfall as a leader is I'm extremely too nice. I think it's also my biggest asset is empathy. But I'm also extremely empathetic to where I might let things slide a little too much or not be so overly motivating or strict some days. But truthfully, what's helped us is SOPs, like you said before. My mom is actually a Lean Six Sigma black belt. And if anybody knows what Lean Six Sigma is, it's re-engineering processes, data. And she actually goes into some pretty big companies and does that. But with her kind of overseeing a lot of my first business development, we from the very beginning built out processes within our company, standard operating procedures, step by step. Like if I just even shared my screen on a couple like Google Docs, we have like 150-page documents on just how to deal with conflict resolution. We try to make sure that if there's ever a problem, there's a process there to solve it, or if there isn't, there's a process to be able to solve it as well. And we try to stay 10 steps ahead of a lot of those problems and keeping scalability that way. Now, team management, I am very fortunate to have an amazing, two sets of guys that manage a lot of the operations, and we work, the three of us, really closely together to make sure that things get done. And I've kind of taken a backseat of the team management role per se. But what really drives the teams forward is those SOPs and daily huddles. Daily and end-of-day huddles. We have a morning huddle every morning before everybody clocks in. It's actually off pay. Everybody decided on that. It wasn't even my decision. But basically, everybody gets in there. We just get a huddle going, talk about what's the goals for today are, as well as at the end of the day, we'll talk about what goals got accomplished. We have reports as well. Everybody in our entire company has to fill out a form at the end of the day to tell them how was their day, how do they feel about walking out of the day, accomplished, etc. I'm pretty sure you guys have that too. We actually took some of that from you guys.
But what you said was really unique. And I just want to pick up on that is you've surrounded yourself with people that can do the team management. Like I'm terrible with SOPs. Like don't put me in front of an SOP and have me create it. I'll record a Lou video all day, but to actually actualize that and give people step-by-step processes, it's like getting around people. Like Jairus, for us, that's Jairus. Jairus creates the SOPs. Like our department heads create the SOPs. Well, I'm not an SOP person. I'm the guy that hops on camera, can communicate and can sell. But I'm not that guy. So I think it's really important, marketer, real estate, especially real estate agent. If you want to grow your real estate business, or if you want to grow your insurance business, it's like you have to understand what you're good at and what you're not good at, and potentially like partner up with. It's not a bad thing to partner up with somebody in this world. Like that's how I got into the world. I had partners in the beginning that complemented my abilities, like having that ops person in your business, or maybe having somebody like, when you're early on, maybe it's joining a team, or like, and I'm not sure like what it's like in the insurance world, but in the real estate world, it's like maybe potentially joining a team, learning under somebody, learning the processes, learning the systems. I think it's really good for any real estate agent to, speaking to real estate, maybe I can speak to real estate agents. You can speak to insurance agents and give them some advice since you know the space. Real estate agent, in my opinion, you should join a team in the very beginning. I just think that will serve you at such a higher level to learn kind of the back end systems of everything you need to do in order to actually build your team eventually, or in turn. I was chatting with one of our clients, Leo, yesterday about this, where he's like looking for real estate agents that are essentially in the California area that want to intern with them, and he'll teach them everything he knows. That's really great. Marketer, and maybe you can speak to this as well. Marketer, I think that when you get to a freelance standpoint, you have to make the option of like, do I want to give away equity in my agency to, which I think is really smart in the beginning, personally, if you want to grow a big agency, or you need to hire some sort of ops director or ops person to actually build out those SOPs. Because when I started the agent, we didn't have SOPs. Like we had like small little frameworks, but nothing in comparison to what it is today.
Yeah.
And we, like it was massive growing pain. So maybe you can speak a little bit about SOPs, and how you built them, and maybe speak a little to insurance agents and what they should do.
Even just to go back to the insurance agents part of those, like starting out, I think it is extremely essential for insurance agents starting out to not only join a team, but join a team. I think what starting agents get screwed up on is they join a team with massive comp, and what that means is they get a way bigger commission rate.
Yep.
What I suggest to every agent starting out is go to a captive agency like Allstate. Everybody knows what Allstate insurance is.
Yeah.
You're going to make small amount of commission, but you're going to understand products, and you're not going to be left to your own demise on closing. Allstate's going to give you a lot of tools to help.
Better training. Yeah, 100%.
And then say, okay, Allstate, I'm leaving. Go to another company who has massive commissions, and you're out on your own, but you're knocking on doors. And then, call somebody like myself where we'll fill your phone. But exactly. Obviously, the first and foremost is getting to learn the products, and then also learning how to close them too, right? And then getting your feet wet with it, and not, with a captive agency, you'll be paid 9 times out of 10, quite well just for the amount of work you're going to put in. Now, you won't make as much if you want to excel. Now, if you went to an uncaptive agency, you're going to make 10 times more. And stick to smaller, low ticket leads at first. Get your feet wet. Call people and just talk. I always say a $2 lead, you don't care. Like, well, at least you can screw up on, right? A $20 to $30 lead, you're going to be pissed that you screwed that up, right? And start small, right? Start small. Now, going to like the marketer side of things, don't go and run and white label everything. That's what I'd say don't do.
True.
Don't go and just find somebody to white label all your products. That's what not. Because then you lose the connection of customer to fulfillment. You have no idea. You're just literally a messenger man at that point. And that's not good for anybody. You're not going to end up getting a good result. It's just, and very few in between. There is times where it works. I currently have a partnership that we work with our calls, and it works amazing. But I've been in business with them for a while. It's taken a long time. It's not something that I would just do starting out. I already have the infrastructure in place. It was to help.
Totally. And you still have to build, even with like the big thing I would say to marketing agencies that are just want to white label everything is like, you still got to build systems even with the white label part. It's a partnership. It's not just like, here you go, here's everything. It's like, well, I need to like embed myself into your culture to understand, and that's like, we have one supplier that we work with, and that's it. Like everything else is in-house. So we have one supplier where we do a lot of the fulfillment for. But that in itself, like if you want to really scale, like, because if you look at larger businesses, like the way I kind of put it was from a supplier standpoint, if you look at a lot of contracting businesses, they'll have different suppliers, but they'll have like key suppliers for certain things. And it's like, if you look at yourself that way, where it's like, hey, maybe I have one key supplier that I've embedded myself in, but I still offer additional services. That's a really great way. But I wholeheartedly believe what you're saying, where it's like, don't build your entire business around white label. I just think that, like, you eventually have to do something, especially in the marketing world.
Those mistakes in the earlier stages. So that's,
if
anything, I can't tell you what to do. I can just tell you what not to do, because I know what I screwed up on and spent a crap ton of money on it. So
I'm the same way. No, I totally agree with you. I'm curious to what you think when it comes to what's working and what's not working in the marketing space right now. And like, maybe we could chat, because I think we have a little bit of the same, maybe the same or similar troubles, where people think it's like, oh, I get a lead, that lead should immediately just want to work with me. It's not realistic. That's not how marketing works. Like, I've kind of explained in some videos over the last little while around, like, there's really 3 phases of like online lead generation. It's lead, the opt-in, the prospect is the appointment, and then there's your client. But like, not every, like one of the best things that I heard Taki Moore, my business coach, say to me is like 50% of people in the marketplace will just never choose you. 15% of people are ready to go right now. 35% need to be nurtured over like a 6 to 18 month window. So I'm curious what you're seeing working right now, and how you're kind of communicating that with insurance agents to help them understand that it's like, how do they stack their pipeline full of leads so that they never run into a circumstance where they're like, I don't know where my next appointment's going to come from. It's like, well, I do. Like, I have a database full of leads that I could just call all of them and they're here. Where I find a lot of real estate agents run their business off of like hope and luck. And that might have gotten them to the point where they go. But what ends up happening, I hear this all the time on sales calls. It's like, well, 2 years ago I made $200,000, and this year I made 80. It's like, well, how many leads do you have in your pipeline? Oh, I have 30. It's like, what? 30? Like, so like, what, like, how are you having this conversation with insurance agents?
I mean, first and foremost, our marketing strategy always is get the lead costs as low as I possibly can, and then work out from there. So like, I try to get all of our ad campaigns, I try to get as low as I possibly can, and then add all the qualifiers, try to get all the tire kickers out of there. But regardless, we've called people that have filled out a massive form, 10 questions, and then their contact information. We call them within 2 minutes of them filling out that form, and they still tell us that they didn't fill anything out, and they don't want insurance. So it happens. So there's going to be there's always going to be people that are going to be pissed or fill out a form for no reason, or going back and forth, and weren't actually serious. That's just a part of sales, unfortunately. Like, you're gonna have to go through. I would rather pay less money to have more people to talk to than to pay a high amount of money for people that could still potentially say no to me. So that's kind of my premise: is volume speaks form. Now, speaking to the fact that we probably do 1,500 to 2,500 phone calls a day right now for final expense insurance, and Medicare. And I can honestly say that it doesn't matter the lead. Doesn't matter. We have leads that were generated 8 months ago, and we're still calling them. We're still getting them on the phone. It's all about, once you got their attention, how are you going to capture it, keep it, and last it out, and qualify them enough so that way they go through your entire sales process, right?
It's timing too. It's timing. Like, and that's the other thing. It's like, they fill out a form. It's like, oh, things are busy. This is no longer a priority now. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a priority in 6 months. Like, we get that all the time. Clients will come to us and they'll be like, oh, I generated these 1,000 leads last year on Facebook. I haven't done anything with them. I haven't even been talking to them. We call them. We book a ton of appointments. Like you should, in my opinion, you should never, as an agency, as a realtor, as an insurance agent, you should never stop generating leads. No. Like, you should always have a pipeline full of people you could potentially speak to. It just is like, it's not like, it should just be part of your budget, like on a monthly basis. I'm curious, like, what are some ways that you're seeing insurance agents, and maybe like this can kind of provide some value to our real estate agents, how you're essentially seeing insurance agents, that are really winning. Like, what are they doing from the people that are like, oh, these leads suck, like, or these appointments suck? Like, what are the top insurance agents doing? Because obviously they have a larger pool as well. So like, again, like with a real estate agent, generally they're working a local market. Insurance agent can work with anyone in the US.
Like, yeah, they're basically state oriented mostly. So
Yeah, so so still a larger net, but like I'm sure you get this even within your industry, within insurance, like, oh, these leads suck, but then like you get somebody else on the phone, it's like same lead, same ad, everything's the same, but they get results.
um,
So yeah, go ahead.
the agents that actually close pick up the phone. The
Yeah,
agents that don't are scared of the phone. It's like
yeah,
they're trying to find every solution to make selling easier. When selling doesn't get easier, selling will never get easier. Never.
totally.
I asked for hundreds of thousands of dollars from clients. I never got it easy.
Yeah,
I've done it thousands and thousands of times. It never gets easy.
yeah,
There's never going to be a point in time where selling gets easy. You might be able to automate the ways that you get somebody on the phone, and that process might get easy. You might have a massive pipeline, but getting on the phone and selling that person never gets easy.
yeah. It's not easy, and like I want to echo that. Like, that's part of the reason we launched the Real Estate Growth Academy, was because a lot of people, like, Vikram says this all the time. A lot of people think they need leads, and it's like that. Yeah, you need leads. Like, you need leads, but you need skills. Like, you need skills. You need the ability to be able to persuade. You need the ability to actually be able to have a good conversation. Vikram calls it, level 5 listening.
Yeah,
Building emotional rapport. Like,
yeah.
the best thing that so we were doing a role play with our salespeople this morning, and Vikram is like, a lot of people when they got on the phone, it's like, oh, cool, Chase, like, really cool red shirt. Like, what? Like that's not rapport building. It's
Or
like,
I get this one to be, and we sell a lot of transfers. So like these ones bug me. So what made you get what made you interested in getting life insurance today? Well,
yeah,
why even asking that question? He's on the phone with you. He's clearly interested. Why do you care? Just keep going. I was like, or do you want life insurance? It's like, well, he's on the phone. Like,
of course he wants life insurance. He's on the phone. He's having a conversation with you. Like, it's going deeper. Like, we were going through and saying, like, it's like we were on the phone with real estate agents. Like, we were teaching talking about like emotional rapport building this morning. And it's like, you could hop right into it, or you could ask them a question, like, a real estate question is like, oh, what'd you do before real estate? Like what was, like, why did you choose real estate? Like, digging deeper, like building like, actually, like, I think when you actually give a shit, when you actually care, you ask better
yeah,
questions. Like, and I think that a lot of people care. They just don't know how to ask better questions. Like, they don't know how to be curious. So what would you say to like a marketer or a real estate agent or an insurance agent that essentially is on the phone? Like, what are like 3 steps they can take to have better sales conversations?
well, first discovery, right? First, you want to know why this person needs your help. See if you can help them first. That should be done through the qualifying.
Yeah.
Luckily, with a live transfer, that's already done for you. So we've qualified. Now it's time to understand their why, right? So getting
Yep.
on the phone, understanding why by finding out. And obviously, just before I said I hated that. What made you get into life insurance, and I hate that because it right off the hop, it's basically questioning them. But if by asking them certain questions, like how many family members are you currently looking after right now, or
Yeah.
do you have, who would be your beneficiary? And finding out those answers allows you to kind of get into now the sales conversation and bring up those key things in the sales conversation, so it sits inside of them, and without getting into like too much of the sales process, like understanding why life insurance, or why, getting a home would be of interest for them, and understand what would make them move quicker in that process. I think it's like the
Yeah.
three essential things.
100%. I totally agree with you.
Aside from keeping energy on the phone. Like a lot of people don't understand of cadence and energy on the phone is everything as well too, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to allow too much space and time in between your questions and their answers with dead air. Dead air kills any phone conversation, right?
Yeah.
You want to be just on to the next. If they didn't answer that question and they're answering it, just on to the next question. On to the next question. Keep the call moving in your direction and keep control of that. You don't want to be losing control by asking questions that they could go off on the rocker.
I think one other thing I want to add here and I kind of want to wrap up with is pre-framing a call. I think that a lot of people, they really struggle with pre-frame, and this is something that we're working with, like even our team. And I think real estate agents struggle with this is like when they get them on the phone, it's like the pre-frame for that live transfer, that pre-frame for that conversation. This is why I believe so firmly in using a script. Like the clients, like there's a really clear distinction between the clients that use a script and the clients that don't use a script. Like I don't care if you think that you're better than the script, like you're not. Like it's just that simple. Like you're not better than the script. You're not better than the framework. Some of the people that are making, 8-9 figures a year still use a script.
Yeah.
Or they use some sort of framework. One of my mentors, Sharon, says, if you don't script it, you don't care. And I really believe that. Like I really believe that. And I think the pre-frame more than anything allows you to set the agenda for the call, because what the agenda for the call does is it creates security for the person that's on the other end. It's like, okay, amazing. Like we're here now. Here's how the call is going to go. Here's the structure of the things I'm going to ask you to see whether or not I can really help you get to where you want to go. And I think that is for a marketer, for an insurance agent, for a real estate agent, you need to pre-frame your sales calls, because if you're not pre-framing your sales calls, everything can go off on the rails, and like you need to have a structure for the conversation, because the structure makes people feel safe. So I want to ask you, Chase, and I really do appreciate your time today. Like, are there anything that you want to essentially, like, for our listeners to know about you, about your process? Like, where can they reach you? Like, where can an insurance agent reach you if they want to have a conversation with you? Because again, I get the odd insurance agent through our funnel. So maybe they'll see this video and they'll be like, hey, here's Chase. Like, what do you want to tell people, and where can they reach you?
Yeah. If you're an insurance agent looking for live transfer appointments, whatever you have, give me a reach out. I think you're going to be tagging me obviously in this. You can reach me on my own profile, or you can go to www.unrl.io. Put that in the comments for me, Cody. I appreciate it.
100% will.
Or I will. But if you got any value out of today's conversation, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to chat.
Chase, appreciate your time today. Ton of fun. Always fun chatting with you about sales, marketing, all that good stuff. So hope everyone listening got a ton of value today. And I really want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the StudioPTBO podcast. If you're listening back on iTunes or Spotify, I want to say thank you more than anything. Really do appreciate your time. Really do appreciate your attention. This podcast is going to probably be uploaded in another week or so. And if you're looking for real estate help, if you're looking for insurance help, reach out to, if you're looking for real estate help, reach out to us. If you're looking for insurance help, reach out to Chase. We do very similar things, and I really do appreciate everyone's attention. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the StudioPTBO podcast. We'll see you all soon.